show the world what we all about.
Vision to pain. Take special first. Play this game. There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow.
We play for the day.
We play for the day.
I will not be satisfied.
I will not be satisfied.
Any other way.
Greetings, Wildcats fans. I'm Marvin James, and this is the Fort Valley State University Coaches Show featuring head coach Don Pittman. And this is another week in the Valley where we'll talk about last week's matchup with Alderson at Brodus. But first, Coach, let's talk about this week right now. We're getting ready for Kentucky State. How you feeling?
Feeling pretty good about Kentucky State. They have a very good team, and they have 3 former staff members of Fort Valley State on their staff.
Okay. But before we get into that a little bit, let's talk about the week that was in the conference standings. Even though we came out with a loss on Saturday, it's good to see that we're still atop because we're undefeated in the region. In the conference.
Yes, it was a non-conference game. We wanted to win it very badly, but we didn't. But we're still in contention for the SIAC conference championship.
And if you look over to the west side, Kentucky State is over there undefeated as well, and it looks like it'll be a great matchup coming up Saturday.
Oh yes, Kentucky State is their homecoming, and they always geared up for us. You
know what they say about homecoming teams, right, Coach? That ain't real good, is it?
Yes, it's not very good, and they chose the wrong opponent for their homecoming.
That's right. We'll talk about that. Now, right now, coming in, our pass offense is number 1, as well as our total offense, averaging 338 yards a game. The pass efficiency is also number 1. Let's talk about just our passing game, our offensive game as well, as we're voting in the conference.
Well, I got a chance to talk to a coach from Alderson Borders, and one of the things that he said so far as preparation for Fort Valley State was preparing for those 2 receivers, talking about Javon Bell and Jalen Freeman. They was preparing for them, and they still couldn't stop them, So those 2 guys are 2 great players on the edge, and they make plays every game. So that's why we lead the conference in passing because of those 2.
One of the things, talking about special teams, we'll get to defense in a few, but special teams, the punting is number 1, averaging a little more than 35 yards per kick, and also the punt return, 21 yards. That's pretty phenomenal with field position.
Oh yes, we was very impressed with our specialty team this whole year. Draylon Freeman being an excellent returner as a punt returner, and Travis Richmond as a kickoff returner. And Juan Sonner is improving every game. He's just booming the ball. Sometimes he more remind you of Marquette King.
That's right.
He's a phenomenal young man. He worked hard at his craft, and we depend on him for field position all the time.
Talking about defense, we're averaging number 1 in sacks per game, and that's always good whenever we can, force their offense off the field and put them in tough situations.
Defense is improving every game, and even though this past opponent had over 400 yards, I think it's still good because they are an explosive unit. It's hard to contain them, but the defense is coming together, and they'll get better every game.
Well, the penalties were down a little bit this week. Tell me, what do we do to try to curtail that a little bit?
Well, we just had a reminder, a 6 a.m. run for every penalty a person would receive that following that previous week. So that helps some, and we remind them all the time we can't have penalties or turnovers.
Okay. Now, Coach, entering this non-conference matchup with Alderson Brodus, the Battlers, this past Saturday, they had one prior SIAC opponent, and that was in Central State. Talk about the matchup. We obviously matched up a lot better with them this past week. Talk about how we did battle with the team that was 4-0 in the country and had one of the top defenses as well.
Well, some of the compliments they made after the game was they were surprised and impressed with our team. It wasn't like the previous historical black colleges they played before, and we really got after them, and we just fell short.
Okay. Now, as we enter into week 5 in the conference standings, and like I mentioned, Fort Valley is the top and Kentucky State is the top. What do we need to do to go forward as far as to continue to have that goose egg on the right side of the column and continue to be undefeated?
Well, we let Alderson Brothers, we let them score 20 points in the fourth quarter. We have to be able to stop them and not let them score. They had an 8-play drive for 80 yards, and they had a 9-one for 64. We have to stop that defensively. We playing better, but we need to stop long drives and stop giving up big plays.
Okay, Coach. Well, we're going to take a break for a minute. We're going to come down and break down that game exactly, quarter by quarter. Stay with us.
A dream never dies. It lives within you, waiting to be realized. If you've postponed your dream of a college education or want to learn new career skills, Fort Valley State University offers affordable education programs designed for busy adults. Take courses on campus or online with flexible schedules to accommodate your lifestyle. Turn dreaming into doing at Fort Valley State University. Learn more at fvsu.edu.
Fort Valley State U.
Welcome back, sports fans. This is Marvin James, and this is the Fort Valley State University Coaches Show featuring head coach Don Pittman. We're going to do the breakdown of last week's matchup with Alderson Brothers at New Wildcat Stadium. The Wildcats came up short on that game, 27-20. Coach, let's talk a little bit about just entering this game. What were we expecting from this team that had such a great defense coming in?
Well, we knew there was going to be a very good team. We was looking forward to the challenge. We just wanted to see how good we was against a very good team. Okay.
Now, I know we started off the game, scoring first with a Juan Cerna field goal. I think it was 44 yards. They answered that back with a touchdown play. Nice drive down the field. Talk about that a little bit, about that drive. What did you see on that drive against our defense?
Well, they have a very good quarterback, and they have a very good passing game, and also a run game. But our plan was to make them one-dimensional, to not have them run the ball, but to have to pass it. So we started off a little bit off our plan because they got a chance to score, and they went down with short passes and they moved on down the field, and we could not stop them.
Now, entering late in the first quarter, it was 7-3. Juan Cerna enters in and kicks another beauty, a 46-yarder. Talk about just what he brings to the table. You've been pretty spoiled, Coach, in your career here to have some great special teams play, some kickers. Talk about that a little bit, and what were you able to benefit from that?
Yeah, we had Jetson Rosenbaum and Marquette King, and having one is just a delight. He'd take care of the punting and the kicking, and usually he's pretty much on point when he comes to field goals. I think he only missed about one this year. We have a chance to score every time we get inside the 50, we'll say now, because as long as it's 46. So if we can get good field position and we can't move the ball, he's always there. And I got a lot of slack about before halftime. We was on the 1-yard line, and we did not kick the field goal. But when you are an offensive-minded guy and you playing a very good team with opponent offense, you want to get all the points you can. And we failed that attempt so far as scoring. But that's all a part of the game. And later on, we did come back, and we scored 2 times, and one also made those extra points.
Okay. Yeah, and talking about that play, that series right before, we had a big-time reception for a touchdown from Draylon Freeman. The second week in a row where he was, had a pass interference call on top of him, but he was able to break free and make that catch. It's just unbelievable sometimes to watch him play.
Oh yeah, he's a great player. But let me bounce back to that 1-yard line again.
Yes, sir.
Tracy White had a great interception.
That's right.
And he ran it back, and we thought it was a terrible call. He was in.
Yes, sir.
Through our eyes.
Yes, sir.
And but it was put on the 1-yard line, and we wish we can get that play back where he scored, and that probably put the game away. Draylon is a big-time playmaker, and our opponents knew that. He had a guy that was on him who was shorter. He was like about 5'11", and the other corner was the man that was on Javon. So we said we're going to go to Draylen, and we went on a deep pass route, and he made the play.
That's right, man. That's for like second week in a row. Again, pass interference call. And no need to have pass interference with a player like that. He continues to shine, just as reminiscent of what Slaughter was able to do a couple of years as well. And that interception, you said that was right before the half. We ran it back to the one. That was almost another chance for a pick six. We've been doing those consistently week in, week after. We're talking to senior George Maxey a little later about his contributions on defense. Talk about how the defense is stepping up and with the turnovers and helping to give the ball back to the offense.
You know, we always, every Sunday, we have put up the takeaways and giveaways, you know, turnover margin. If we can win the turnover margin, we think we can win the game. It didn't happen this week, but we did win the turnover margin, but we lost the game. But as always, that's very important. It gives you a certain change of game, and usually during a certain change, it gives you an opportunity to score. The momentum is automatically on your side.
Staying with defense, Leon McCorker had 12 tackles. Tracy White had the one interception we just talked about. This defense is continuing to grow and to gel every week. The Dirty Blue is definitely gaining their name. What are some of the things that you would like to see more from them? Devontae West had a big sack to get a turnover. What are some of the things you want to see more out of this defense?
Well, Leon McQuaker is a redshirt freshman. His playing experience is very limited, but he's improving every week. He's starting to be a standout player. Rapidly, he's doing this. He made plays all over the field, and he's going to get better. He's going to get stronger. He's going to get faster. Right now, he has the gift of hitting people and taking them to the ground. He's an impact player already. He only played in 5 games.
Okay. So 13-7 is at the half. Fort Valley leads. We come out and tell me a little bit exactly how the third quarter progressed before we got to the fourth quarter.
Well, we scored 2 touchdowns in the third quarter, and everything was still clicking until the end of the third quarter. During the third quarter, let me go back to the first and second quarter. If you look at the time possession, the first quarter we had over 11 minutes possession time. So that means that potent offense wasn't on the field. And also the second quarter, we had over 10 minutes of possession time. So they weren't on the field very much during the first half. The third quarter, we was on the field just 6 minutes. And they had a chance to get on there and get a rhythm going. Once they got that rhythm going, it was pretty hard to stop them.
Okay. Now the fourth quarter, we talked about earlier, we gave 20 points in the fourth quarter. What happened during that time for those who weren't able to see the game?
The thing that happened is every time you play a team like Aldis brought us, they're gonna figure you out, and they knew our weakness. And it was the linebackers dropping into their zones, and the middle of the field was open. They was seeing a guy cross on the shallow cross, we called it, to get their attention of the linebackers. And they would get their eyes on that shallow cross route, and they would have a guy in back of them, what you call high and low of the linebacker. He had somebody behind him. So the tight end going down the seam, he was open. They made that play 3 different times to move the ball down the score.
And they were able to escape with a big win for them, a big rally, come from behind win. I know there's no moral victories, but what were we able to take away from this game going forward, playing a tough non-conference opponent, a team that definitely you could possibly see in the playoffs again?
We definitely learned a lot from this game, especially the 1-yard situation that we wasn't successful at. We played that over and over again. In our heads. The second one is the last play of the game, which they got into a bunch route, bunch formation on our left side, and our cornerback on the left side, he once again he looked inside, and they ran a wheel route by the person on the inside, and he didn't react until it was too late. And they made a great catch, and it was a touchdown. If by a guy that didn't have any catches all night. So the ball bounced their way, it didn't bounce our way that night. And it goes also, we hit the ball 3 different times when the quarterback was trying to pass. We defected the ball, and we didn't come up with the catch so far as the other team members on defense. Mm-hmm. And when they did score the first time, hands team, we didn't have all our hands team people on the field. So it's a big stage, a big game, and pressure moments. I think we learn a lot from that, and we'll be more prepared next time.
Okay. And lastly, just speaking, I guess, from the whole aspect of it being military appreciation game, nice crowd on hand and a chance to honor some of the military personnel here locally in the area as well.
Oh, it was great seeing them there. They're usually there at our end zone, and every time we score, they do the push-ups and all of that. And it's just nice having them at the game and to show our appreciation for them.
That's right. Fort Valley State University, ROTC, was definitely there in attendance, and a couple of high schools were there as well. We'll be back with more after the break. Please stay with us.
You've defended our country, fought to safeguard our dreams. Now it's time for you to pursue your dreams. Fort Valley State University is a designated military-friendly school providing specialized services for soldier scholars, including a dedicated support staff and fee waivers to qualified applicants. Choose a military-friendly school to turn your dream to reality. Apply to Fort Valley State University today. Learn more at fvsu.edu.
Fort Valley State U.
Welcome back, sports fans. This is the Fort Valley State University Coaches Show featuring head coach Don Pittman. We're sitting here right now with senior George Maxey, a free safety from the Duval in Jacksonville, Florida. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Good. We want to talk a little bit about the defensive side of the ball, the dirty blue. Talking about this is the 3rd straight game you guys have had some big time interceptions. Talk about your play on Saturday. You had 2 tackles and 2 pass breakups. But talk about just the play of the defensive unit as a whole.
As a whole, I feel like we're coming together great right now. Putting together hard times in the gym, watching a lot of film. We had a good game. We had a few interceptions back to back, a few games in a row. That's dedicated to our defensive coordinator, Coach Jones, and the different parts of the film that we watch and study.
Okay. Talk about just about how in prior years, I guess in last year, linebacking court was one of the leaders of the group with Fur, and the way that he was able to, impact such a leadership role. Talk about what you guys are doing now at the 3rd level and kind of leading the forefront of the defense.
Right now that we see that we've been playing a lot of spread teams, different teams that like to pass the ball, but as well like to run the ball. But being a support in the 3rd level, coming up, saying to push the pile, and being that extra support. So yes, definitely being leadership role in different things in practice, leading the team, winning sprints, different things, and just coming together as a whole defense. It definitely starts in the secondary as well.
Turnovers we know are important in the game of football. How much of a shift does that happen, and how much does that motivate you guys when you're able to get the ball back into the offensive hands?
It motivates us a lot. It gets us off the field. As you know, in the game, defense needs to get off the field, offense needs to stay on the field. So just the great thing about the offense right now is that they're clicking, they're staying on the field, they're putting together a lot of drives, and just the necessary effect of defense getting off the field on 3rd down is definitely effective.
Now, you guys took a break from conference play this past weekend. You had Alderson and Brodus into town. Talk about just the differences of having non-conference play. I mean, Alderson Brodus came in this game undefeated at 4-0, and before you guys played Delta State. How much of a difference and how challenging is it when you're playing a team like that is non-conference and coming in highly touted?
It is definitely challenging. It's different. The conference play is every year. Out of conference players definitely can differ. So definitely coming in and playing a team like that, we had to prepare differently because we might not have as much film ready for them, but definitely it's going hard in practice, and it's definitely a challenge to prove yourself outside of your conference so that you can compete with other regions. Okay.
Well, now we're getting back into conference play. We have Kentucky State coming up this week. What are some of the things that you're going into practice this week to talk to some of the younger guys about, and some of the other starters about what you guys need to do to get back on track?
Definitely. We already started yesterday, walking in and watching film, doing our runs, doing our lists. We spent a lot of time yesterday already starting. There's no days off with football, as you know. Once you come into camp, you clock in until the season's over with. So constantly practicing, constantly going in today to watch film, constantly working out, and dedicating yourself to the grind.
Very good. All right, that's senior George Maxey. We're going to be talking more with Coach Pittman after the break. Please stay with us.
Fort Valley State University is a designated military-friendly school providing specialized services for soldier scholars. Apply to Fort Valley State University today. Learn more at fvsu.edu.
Fort Valley State U.
Welcome back, Wildcat fans. This is Marvin James, and this is the Fort Valley State University Coaches Show. We're wrapping up the show talking a little bit about this week's upcoming opponent, and that's Kentucky State, who is also undefeated on the west side of the SIAC, while Fort Valley State is undefeated on the east side of the SIAC. Coach, got to be a good matchup, and last time we were there, it wasn't something that we want to talk about much, but last game we played them at Wildcat Stadium, we were victorious.
Yes, that was a payback game because the year before we went up there for their homecoming and they beat us. Matter of fact, they knocked us out of the conference race for championship. So from that experience, we was looking forward to the next year when we had them here and we got a chance to repay the favor to them. And it's such a big match because Joshua Dean, their head football coach, he started his collegiate coaching career here at Fort Valley State. Okay. And his dad was here coaching also linebackers. He's his defensive coordinator. And Frank Turner was our defensive line coach here at Fort Valley State. So they all at Kentucky State, and they all look forward to beating us. Especially Vernon Dean, he likes to brag a lot. And he would tell us that he know every play we're going to run, and he have us, have our number. And we like to show him that he don't. So we're going to change some things around because they do know our offense and they do know our defense. So we're going to change some things around. But the most important thing that we get out there and we move the chains and we can get their offense off the field. They have a very good team. Their quarterback is mobile, and he can run and pass. We've seen him making plays in the 3 games that we have, and they have a very good running back that had a very good game against Benedict. They got a chance to beat Benedict this past Saturday, and they on a roll right now. I think they 2 in a row. So we're looking forward for this game.
And that's the one opponent that we both have in common. They beat Benedict last week, 32-19. I don't know how much we can really gauge on that. Benedict, we kind of played them really handily, but I guess just talk about what is our game plan, our matchup offensively.
Well, the thing about Kentucky State, they're almost like Albany State and Fort Valley contest. It doesn't matter what the record is, that's right. All that's out the window. It's just going to be a backyard brawl. We're going to go after it, all 4 quarters.
Okay. How has practice been this week as far as preparing for the game? Is it any different after a loss, even though this was a non-conference loss? How is the morale?
I know yesterday everybody showed up and they was ready to go, and in anticipation of playing Kentucky State and get back on the winning track again. I know this week practice is going to be fiery, and we're getting after it, and we don't want to waste any time, and we're looking forward to that long trip to Kentucky State to get there and play.
All right, and that's the one thing about it, Coach. I mean, you guys have to keep focused on the goal, because obviously the focus is to win in the conference and continuing to play at that high caliber. You guys have done really well on the road so far this year as well. What do you attribute to that success?
We like playing on the road because we get a chance to be together. When we play at home, we don't get that opportunity because, especially with the people that live off campus, they go and they stay the night in their apartment or house, and we don't know exactly what they're doing at that time or what have you. When we're on the road, we get a chance to be together.
Okay. And before we head out, let's talk about an injury report. How are things going, and how's Otis looking for this week's game?
Otis looking really good. Hopefully we get a chance to play him this week. We'll know more by Wednesday. It's day-by-day deal.
Okay. Without Otis, we still have Malcolm. How is Malcolm doing recovering from that game? He was all over the field and did a great job, enough to get us the win, but we just came short.
I think we're very fortunate with the number of scholarships we have to not have you starting quarterback play in a big game and not have a letdown. Otis came off the bench and and done a really excellent job. They couldn't even do that with Michael Vick. You know, he got in the game and he could not perform up to par. But Edie Malcolm, he got in and performed, and he was determined to show everybody that he can move the change and possibly win a game.
And as well as the athletic ability, the leadership is also a big point.
He became a leader this game. You know, I could see it. I could see it also yesterday. He's taking charge, and he know that's one of the keys so far as being a quarterback is leadership. And the most important thing is the team has confidence in him. They never once mentioned that Otis was gone and would not play. Even though they know Otis is a big-time player, they still have that confidence in Malcolm.
All right. Well, that's it for this week's show. We're headed to Kentucky State this week. We wish the Wildcats traveling mercies and blessings as they go to look for another win and continue the unbeaten streak. Thank you, Coach. Good luck, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.